Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
How you doing, folks? Welcome back to some more World of Tanks action with Scout. Got some footage for you today featuring the Tiger II, the German Tier 8 heavy tank. If you've seen any of my past videos, you know that the Tiger II is a tank that I dearly love, but not a tank that I tend to do particularly well in. I don't know why. It's got a great gun. It's very accurate. It's reasonably mobile for a heavy tank. Its mobility's been nerfed in recent patches, so it's not quite as well, you can never really call it nimble, but it's even less nimble than it used to be. And it has decent armor with the exception of that lower glacis, which if you get hit will tend to cause an engine fire and you'll take an inordinate amount of damage. But other than that lower glacis, this is a strong tank, and for whatever reason I do not do well in it typically. It's one of the few tanks, for example, that I don't yet have a top gun in. Not a single top gun yet in this tank. And, I'm starting to figure out that that's mostly because of the way I play it. I think that this is really a tank that you have to be able to side scrape with, because that lower glacis is such a huge weak point. Because if you take a shot there, it's more than likely going to cause an engine fire, and you're going to take, as I said earlier, an inordinate amount of damage. And you can only afford to do that once or twice, and then you're going to find yourself sitting in a burning tank. What's left of it? And I think I have just, I've not really appreciated how significant that is. As you're going to see in some of these situations and in some of this gameplay, if you play around that, if you do not expose that lower glacis, the Tiger II suddenly becomes a much stronger tank. But anyway, we're here on Red Shire, tiered fairly well, 2 tier 9s per team. Unfortunately, it's a T95 on both sides. I'm coming up the east side of the map. I like to come this way and see the new terrain. I've got a T44 and an Object 416 providing eyes for me, and they've spotted a Tiger II and now a Sturry Meal, I think is what that thing is over there, that German tank destroyer. So rather than go through the valley, I've decided to come up on a high ground and try to give supporting fire to the T44 and the Object 416. Going to park in these bushes here, try to line up a shot on this Tiger II. He gives us the flank, and there it is. Right dead in his flank. Shot penetrates. We get a fire and 523 points of damage in one shot, securing the kill on the Tiger II. And now I'm moving up. I do not want to leave the T44 and the 416 up here by themselves, because they've both taken some hits, and I'm anticipating some follow-on forces trying to push through this valley. So that's why I immediately started to push up, and sure enough, you see the IS-6 here trying to follow them in. Put a good shot into the IS-6 that was in the side of his turret, and he starts backing back down. He takes hit from the 416 and the T44 as well, so I'm going to follow him up, see if I can catch him making a mistake and exposing his turret up over the hill, like right about now. Unfortunately, that shot goes a little high, so we're going to back down, reload, try to keep the tank angled. The IS-6 with its 175mm gun have trouble penetrating my lower glacis angled. There I put a shot into his tracks, because now we've got him exactly where we want him. Back down. His shot goes over the top of the turret, and he can't move. And we put one right into his lower glacis. Back down for the reload, knowing that he doesn't have the depression to hit me while I'm down. And the E50 up on the hill to our left secures the kill. Now this is a problem. A T95 sitting right here, and you can tell by the way I turn the tank that I really do not want to engage that T95 head on. I do, however, want to keep him spotted, because he is just glacially slow, and I'm hoping that if I can keep him spotted, that our Geschützwagen Tiger P will just ruin his day. Unfortunately, as I come up to try and keep him spotted, I take a shot, and you can see it's a monstrous shot from that T95. Takes off almost half my health, ISU 152 also dangerous, coming up behind the T-95. I put a shot into him. We get a really unfortunate bounce. ISU 152, I don't think its frontal armor is all that great, but every once in a while you get a trollish bounce like that, and that was a little frustrating. You can see me there calling for fire on the T-95 again. I really just want to keep him spotted. I don't want to take another hit from him. And what I'm doing now is staying low. You see the armor penetration indicator turning green. It's because I'm shooting for his weak spots, his viewports up on the top of the T-95. I managed to bounce a shot there, and there finally we get some support. That was actually the enemy FB-207 that got destroyed by a Tiger behind us and to the left. And there you see me trying to be sneaky again, trying to get shots into those viewports. I end up taking a second hit from that T-95, which really hurt a lot. Tried to land a flank shot on him. You see the 416 going around trying to get him to turn. Unfortunately, the wreck of that Tiger 2 is in the way. Come up, take another shot. That one finally goes in and gets some damage done on that T-95. Looking here for the ISU 152. Can't get a shot on him. Fortunately, the T-71 on the hill kills the ISU 152, and that leaves just me and the T-44 dancing around with the T-95. What I'm trying to do here is be sneaky and sneak a shot under the hulk of that Tiger 2 that he's hiding behind. Couldn't get it lined up in time. And now I'm just trying to stay low and keep him spotted and hope that artillery can finish him off. Don't want to take another hit from that T-95 because it will certainly kill me. You see me there calling for fire again. And now we're just kind of stuck in a Mexican standoff. Again, just trying to keep him spotted, be patient, wait for artillery. And there the T-44 sneaks a shot into the T-95 and secures the kill. Not really sure how he did it. It may have been a high explosive round, or he may have caught the flank or used maybe a premium round to penetrate a viewport. But either way, well played to that T-44, because that was huge. That shot there just opened up this valley, allows us to push further west and start pressuring these tanks on the hill. There's a good shot on the KV-2. Unfortunately, the E-50 is kind of in my way. I really don't want to hit him in a straight round. Tried to shoot the back of the tank. Actually, I'm sorry, the front of that KV-2 as he backed back up, but didn't put enough lead on the shot. Looking here at the T-71, really don't want him flying around flanking me. Incredibly, the shot hits and we get a critical hit, but no damage. Trying to line up a second shot, no joy there. I'm seeing the T-54 come up. He's a tier 9 medium, so I want to put damage into him. Unfortunately, the first shot bounces. And that's when I noticed this super Pershing over here on my right. Looking to see if I can get an angle on him, which I can't. Somebody put a pretty big hit on him. You saw there, I think it was our artillery hit him for a monstrous amount of damage. And now I'm backing down in order to prevent the T-71 and the T-54 from shooting at me as I deal with this super Pershing. Sneak one shot into the top of his turret as he's coming around. I was hoping he was going to stay there, but he doesn't. Fortunately, I'm able to reload while he fiddles around, trying to work his way through the debris. Put a second shot into the top of his turret, able to bounce a shot from him that hits the front glacis of the tank. And then the T-34-2 finishes him off with a shot here in the flank. Trying to sneak a clutch shot there into the T-71 as he drives by. You see there when he pops back up, he's only got 265 hit points left. I'm pretty sure a couple of those blind shots I fired at him hit and did some damage. I was thinking about coming up here to engage the T-54-1, but I realized the T-71 was going to try to come around me, so I back off to get some space, elevate the gun, and catch him as he tries to come screaming down the hill to get behind me. A tank that fast with the gun that thing carries would have definitely, had I allowed him, gotten around me and finished me off, as I'm only sitting on 144 hit points. And now I'm coming up the hill trying to get some shots on this T-54-1. I'm using the auto aim and just trying to get the tank up here, leveled out, fire the shot, and then turn the auto aim off and zoom back in, try to go for the second shot and secure the kill. Unfortunately, the T-54-1 backs around the building there, So what I'm going to do is move up, get a little closer, see if I can get in these trees. Tiger's a little bit in my way there. Pull up, try to get around him, and yep, here he comes back out again. And there's the shot right into the back of his turret, securing my 3rd kill for the game. And the win. So that's that. Well, it was a tier 9 game, even if there were only 2 tier 9s in the Tiger 2, which I thought went pretty well. Let's take a look at the results screen. So there you have the results for the victory on Red Share. 39,366 credits earned, 1,222 experience, and a first class badge. Again, can't even get a mastery badge in this tank. Still stuck on first class, but I still thought that was a pretty good game. If we take a look at the team score, I was able to put out 3,601 points of damage in my Tiger 2 in that game. Kill 3 enemy tanks, which nets us 1,222 base experience. Kind of surprised that I did the most amount of damage on my team in that game. As I was playing it, I really didn't feel like I was doing that much damage, let alone 1,200 more than the 2nd place player on my team, who perversely enough is a T-71, a tier 7 light tank in a tier 9 game. So really kind of a funky game. If we take a look at the detailed report, I fired 23 shots, 21 of which hit. Unfortunately, we only got 13 penetrations, but a lot of those shots were against the T-95 frontal, and you can't expect those to go in. But again, did manage to inflict 3,601 points of damage. Took 5 hits, and again, the only 2 that actually penetrated were the monster hits from the T-95, which you can't expect to bounce in a tier 8 heavy tank. Total potential damage received 2,880. Damaged 7 enemy tanks, destroyed 3, and even got credit for 757 points of assistance damage. Only pulled in 4,721 credits after repair and rearm, but we fired almost every shot of armor-piercing ammunition we had in that game, so you can't really expect to turn too much of a profit when you're firing that many shots. So there you have it. There's the first tier 9 game in my Tiger 2. Really liked how that game went. Didn't get a top gun. Didn't really get a monstrous amount of kills, but I thought that was a really good performance out of a tier 8 tank in that battle. Having said that, I got another interesting game I want to show you guys. So let's take a look. So here we are in the Tiger 2 on Fjords. And as you can see, we are not tiered very well in this game at all. There is a tier 10 on each side, and E100 on the opposing team, and then 5 tier 9 tanks on each side as well, including a tier 9 artillery on each team, which always makes me leery. They have an amazing propensity to one-shot me no matter what I do. So, not really sure what I wanted to do when this game started. I figured that I would go south and try to stick next to some of the tier 9s and use their firepower to help me out when I got myself inevitably into a bind with a tank that was much bigger than me. So that's what you see me doing when this game starts, following the T-30, the T-54, and the object, and additionally trying to give some support because there is 2 tank destroyers down there, so I thought they might could use a heavy tank even if it was only a tier 8. But that's when I noticed this gap right here to my left. Now if you've played on Fjord before, you know there's always 1 or 2 enemy tanks that try to sneak through this gap, no matter which side they've spawned on, and I noticed that nobody was stopping here to watch this gap. And I thought, well, you know, if I can pull up right here, I'll not only hide my lower glacis, but I can side scrape kind of around this corner, and when I back down, it really increases the angle of the front slope. And really, this is like an ideal spot for a Tiger 2. It's everything that I'm looking for in a position. It hides my weak points and accentuates the strong parts of my tank. Hell, it even hides the commander's cupola, one of the biggest weak points on the Tiger 2 from the front, if you can manage to cover the lower glacis. In fact, it's one of the only weak points. So you see here the trees falling. I know that's not the T-29. There's at least 2 tanks down there. So I'm going to sit here and hold this position. And there he is, T-34, fires a shot. And you see it bounces right off the upper glacis. So I come up, line up another shot, hit that T-34 again, and then again back down. Force him to shoot at the upper glacis at a really bad angle. You see that second shot penetrated because he's down to 930 hit points now. And he's going to decide that he doesn't want anything to do with trying to engage a King Tiger in this kind of position. And he backs back off, still looking for that T-29. Trying to figure out where he went. He's dropped off the map. I'm suspecting he's sneaking around here somewhere, so we're just going to hold our position, be patient. Force them to come to us while we're in a really strong position. Now look at this Tiger 2 screaming through. Fire a shot, take off his tracks, do some damage, and spin him all the way around. So we're going to come back up, re-engage, put one into his lower glacis, back down. I'm going to go to the external camera here so that you can see that things are going to start getting pretty exciting here. I'm still engaging that Tiger 2, firing blind where he was tracked. Trying to hit his lower glacis, do some extra damage. And now I'm going to back down and see if maybe I can drop off his mini-map, if he's indeed still there. Don't too often have to worry about ammunition in the King Tiger, but I decided I didn't want to sling any more blind rounds in there. I probably fired one or two too many as it was, but you never know. It might turn out to have been worth it in the end. Again, just holding this position, making sure that they can't roll straight through the middle of the map unopposed. As you can see with XVM, there's a T-32 down south, but we still haven't counted for the T-32, the T-29, and those other tanks that were in the middle. So I kind of suspect that they're all parked right around there just waiting for me to come out. And I have no intention of doing so. I have a really strong position here for the Tiger 2. And here comes good news, an E75. We back off and manage to bounce a shot from the E75, which is pretty unusual. And again, that's the angle of that side armor. It was angled at such a sharp angle to where that shot was coming from that we were even able to bounce from that tier 9 tank. There's a T69 coming. E75's moving back up. And again, boom, bounce a shot from that E75. Now the Tiger 2 and the T69 are engaging us. And you can see we've bounced every shot that's fired. They were able to damage the gun, but they haven't inflicted any damage on the tank yet. We're going to use the repair kit to fix the gun after we fire a shot at the Tiger 2. And now the Tiger 2 and I are going back and forth bouncing shots. You can see he's bouncing, I'm bouncing. The difference is I'm shooting at his commander's cupola. So a lot of my shots are actually zinging right over his cupola, but all it's going to take is a hit like that, and it's going to go in almost every time, whereas you see he's still just constantly bouncing. We haven't taken a single hit yet. There's another bounce. That shot there actually went a little bit low and hit the front of his turret and the gun mantle instead of the cupola. There we finally take a penetrating hit, but we're able to inflict another one in return on that Tiger 2. That shot bounces as well.
That one bounced.
And, I mean, just look at all the shots that are bouncing off of this tank. And now we finally get some support. The 704 and the Jagdpanzer II coming up to help me, and the T-54. I haven't mentioned it, but there is a T-54 off to my right who is helping me hold this corner. So it's not like I'm doing it all by myself. And now with the death of the E-75 and the Tiger II, you can see my team just pouring through this gap. But if you look south, you'll notice the T-29 and the T-34 that we were engaging earlier, in addition to a T-32, are all pushing south against our lone T-32, and none of these guys have gone down here to help. They're all chasing the one lower, the low. So you see me clicking on the map there, and I'm going to turn around and run south and see if I can try to help this T-32. We're going to come around the corner here. There's their T-34. Plant a shot right into the side of his turret. Still trying to get a shot. It's only going to take one to kill him.
Enemy armor is damaged.
But he's backing off, and really that's all I want. I want these guys to back off. I'm trying to save our T-34, so that's why I fired at some of these other tanks that were charging forward rather than chasing the kill. Unfortunately, I just couldn't do it. There's too many of them there. And now you see we bounced another shot already from that T-34 who's coming back around the corner. He's looking to try to kill me. We bounce a shot from the T-32. Unfortunately, that goes into the track of the T-34 and does no damage, but we're able to bounce his shot as well. Now he's backing off. He realizes he's in a bad position. T-32 slinging. T-29 penetrates the lower glacis like we talked about earlier, one of the only frontal weak spots of the Tiger II. So we're going to angle and back down, try to get away from him, and put the killing shot into the T-34. I was looking at lining up a shot on the commander's hatch of the T-29. Believe it or not, that turret's, there is a weak spot on it, especially if you turn it to the side like that. But the T-34 came out and I took the shot, took the chance to kill him. Now I'm trying to line up a shot because it's only going to take one more if I can get it to go in. Unfortunately, it was a little too far to the right and it bounces off the T-29's turret. Pull forward, try to level the tank out, which fortunately causes the T-32 shot to miss. Bounce another shot from the T-29 there, and finally the T-30 has come back around from the gap in the middle to help me out and kills the T-29, which makes my life a lot easier. And you see there the T-32, again, just like we talked about on the T-29, the T-32 does have a weak point in his turret front too, that commander's hatch. We'll be able to put a shot in there and get some good damage before the T-30 does for him as well. So unfortunately I wasn't able to save our T-32 down here, but I was able to hold off these three tanks long enough for the T-30 to come around and save my bacon, because I got one of them. I don't think I would have gotten all three of them. I think I was about to be in a really bad spot, but fortunately he came around and bailed me out. And so now it's 12-9, and the only two enemy tanks left, with the death of that FV-3805, are the E-100 and the Waffentrager Panzer IV, who just obliterated our M103. Now you see that shot there, that tells me automatically that that was from the Waffentrager Panzer IV, and also tells me where he's at. So you see me clicking on the mini-map there, trying to tell my teammates where he's at. Sits there on full health. T-30 puts a monstrous shot into him. I'm just trying to move up and throw my spitballs in and not get obliterated along the way. There we go, able to get a good shot out. Fortunately it doesn't kill him, it leaves him on 5 hit points, so the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffentrager is able to finish him off. I'm kind of thinking he probably lost money on probably a 128mm shell for 5 hit points, but somebody had to do it. And now it's just a matter of whether or not we can kill this E-100. E-100, as we all know, is not a particularly fast tank. Kind of figured he was up there where XVM told us he was, and of course there he is. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get up here, because I'm not as fast as the T-54. Pretty sure if I try to make that dash across the open, I'm going to get obliterated by the E-100's gun. Seeing if I can line up a shot here. Not quite. E-100 takes it. Not really sure why he took that shot. I'm pretty positive he couldn't see me or any part of my tank, so kind of foolish. And again, he takes another really sketchy shot at me, and that's when I realize, hey, I can see him under this house. Shooting at his lower glacis. That one bounces. That one bounces as well. I think really that would have gone in if he hadn't hit that rise and angled his belly so hard. Really kind of surprised that you can bounce the belly plate of a tank at all. But, you know, them's the breaks. Sometimes it happens. But in charging out and trying to finish off littler tanks, he exposes himself to everybody and gets himself killed. So there you have it, folks. Another really good game, I thought, in the Tiger II, even though we weren't tiered particularly well. Let's take a look at the results screen. So here you can see the results of our battle on Fords. Another first place badge again, no mastery badge. We did get a steel wall out of that though, 42,535 credit, 1,260 experience points. If we take a look at the team score, you can see I was able to put out 3,964 points of damage in that game. Only secured 1 kill, but since most of our damage was against tier 8 and 9 tanks, we're able to rake in 1,260 base experience. Gets us first place not only on damage done, but an experience gained in that very tier 9 game. So all in all, I was really happy with my performance in the Tiger 2 on that game. You can see the E100 really had a pretty good game, put out over 4,000 points of damage. Not really sure how or what was going on over there, but I think he probably could have played the ending of that a little better. But other than that, he did have a good game. But I was only 200 points of damage or so behind him in tier 8 heavy. So again, all in all, as I look at this, I think this is probably one of, if not the best game I've ever had in the Tiger 2, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So having said that, we'll take a look at the detailed report. You can see that I fired 26 shots. Indeed, I fired every single armor-piercing shot that I had. I think I was on premium rounds APCR at the end of that game just because I was out of AP ammunition. But did get 21 hits out of the 26 shots fired. Only 14 penetrated though. But that gives us our total of 3,964 points of damage done. More importantly, look at the hits received. Took 24 hit, only 6 penetrated, able to bounce 18 of them. Remember, several of those penetrations were just track no damage penetrations. Total potential damage received in the Tiger 2, 6,940 points of damage, and was still up and fighting at the end of that game. So again, I'm really happy with how that game went. Spotted 5 enemy vehicles, damaged everybody that we spotted, and unfortunately only got 1 kill. No assistance damage that game, which is kind of unusual. Raked in 42,535 credits, but after repair and resupply, we were only able to bring home 3,147. But all in all, really happy with that game. I thought it really illustrates what the Tiger 2 can do if you'll put it in a good position. And I think that's where I've been going wrong with this tank. I think that I always knew that the lower glacis was weak and the engine fire, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think I appreciated how much stronger the tank could be if you just didn't put it in that position at all. And just put it in positions where you knew that your lower glacis was covered. All of a sudden, it becomes a much stronger tank. I mean, look at our chance to win. We only had a 49% chance to win that game. And I really think me putting that tank where it was in both of those engagements, both the middle engagement and the one at the south, is really what kind of pushed. It was the straw that broke the camel's back and pushed that game in our favor, was putting that Tiger 2 in a position where it was strong instead of exposing it to lower glacis shots and getting it obliterated early. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed these videos. Hope you enjoyed seeing something a little different, some German tanks for a change. Got some more videos to share with you guys, a couple more Tiger 2 videos I want to put up a little bit later, confrontation videos that are really interesting. And in other news, I have finally managed to break into tier 9. I've got an IS-8 and an STI now, and I've had some decent games with those that I want to share with you guys as I find the time to make some more videos. So I'm going to call that one a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.